Even if you're just a casual fan, or if you're a fanatico of the nth degree, the ESPN World Cup Companion Book, a marvelous publication, on sale online and in bookstores everywhere. They are arriving in South Africa. Dunga's Brazilian side is there, and not that Brazil is going to show any secrets, Alexi, with the cameras present.
No, but you know, you want to get down there and you want to acclimate as soon as you possibly can, even if you're one of the best teams in the world.
They had a big bear hug from their president before they left as they stopped in Brasilia. Woo! On a Qantas plane, appropriately, the Socceroos of Australia, the USA's opponent, 1 week from today, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, ESPN2. They qualified out of Asia for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, that was a nice-looking charter plane they got there. 747. They're not messing around, are they?
No, and of course, the USA. In Group C, which is headed by England, there's Mr. Rooney, who says he's 100% fit physically. You would expect him, I guess, to say nothing else at this point. United States, of course, the spirit of 1950 being evoked, and tomorrow morning, ESPN, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Outside the Lines, a marvelous feature on Joe Gaetjens, the Haitian-American who scored the winning goal in that memorable match in 1950. Also, in Group C, Algeria, which got pasted by the Irish yesterday, 3-0.
You got to be careful, though. What happens before the World Cup
is true.
Doesn't mean anything, usually.
All right. First appearance since 1986, and then Slovenia, a nation of only 2 million. But they beat Russia to get here.
And 11 of those 2 million are very good soccer players, at least.
2 weeks from today, the USA and England, 1:30 Eastern Time, ABC. ESPN is your home for FIFA World Cup 2010. Everything counting down towards the beginning of the Cup, and the England-USA match. Will be seeing Clint Dempsey today in action. Exactly where will he play on the pitch? What will his responsibilities be? We'll see momentarily as we get you back to Philadelphia. The USA and Turkey. It's the farewell match for the USA national team before departing for South Africa. The atmosphere in Philadelphia for the farewell match, USA versus Turkey. The USA did not get a good result the other evening against the Czech Republic, and Turkey, a very good European side that did not come out of Spain's group. At one point actually had the lead on Spain in qualification. Momentarily, we will see the appearance of the two sides for the ceremonial march out. But as we look forward, and you have pretty well keyed in of what you think the strategic elements are for the USA for success in this World Cup, how do you see it?
I'll give you three things. But first off, just an overall thing that apply to all of them. Keep it simple. As I said before, dumb it down. Don't try to overthink the situation. Number one, I think no shrinking violence. Players got to come up big. Your stars. Landon Donovan talked about how in 2006 he wasn't mentally there, and obviously physically it didn't work out for him. Well, he's in a better place right now, and if it's because he's been in therapy or whatever, it doesn't really matter. He has got to show up. Clint Dempsey has got to show up. Tim Howard's going to be asked to make those key saves. Very, very important. Set pieces, I'm always about set pieces. You know that, Bob. Yeah. Offensively and defensively, they scored on a set piece the other day off of a corner kick, off of free kicks. They got to make the most of them. And defensively, they have to know who they're marking. When you come up against an England, which is so deadly on set pieces.
One mistake can kill you, right?
One mistake, and God forbid somebody is not marking their man. And then finally, we've talked a little bit about injuries, but it's important. There is not a lot of depth on this team. So having your 11 be healthy is important, because I just don't think that we have enough players to come off the bench that can replace the guys that are going to start. So you got to stay healthy.
The rate of play at a World Cup. I mean, you've got club play, you've got qualification play, but when you watch the intensity on the pitch, how does it compare?
You know, it's interesting. It's not necessarily that it's that much faster or that much of a different game. I just think the opportunities that players seize on to make you pay are there, and they do it better than anyone in the world in terms of one mistake. And one mistake, billions of people see what happens. And it's a difficult transition to make also mentally for these players. They're kicking the ball in the same way. It's obviously 11 versus 11. The rules don't change. But being able to withstand the mental pressures. And Jurgen Klinsmann the other day talked a little bit about how it's not just necessarily kicking the ball, it's also being able to mentally adapt to a situation where the entire world is watching you.
Try not to think about that?
You know what? In '94, when I first started out there, I was so naive. I didn't really think about it. So it'll be interesting, some of these young players and inexperienced players, if that naivete works to their advantage. They don't have time to be nervous. And then the other players that do have experience, even Landon Donovan said 2002, he was just happy to be there. 2006, he started to think about it a little bit. Now he's matured to the point where he can, not only has experience, but he can accept that pressure and deal with it.
Philadelphia, the dateline. Tomorrow, the departure for Johannesburg. 2 weeks from today, the opponent is England. And the atmosphere, one festive send-off celebration. There'll be dignitaries down on the pitch for the opening welcomes, but also part of the ceremonies we understand coming up in a few moments will be the ceremonial coin toss, and members of the 1950 U.S. World Cup team will be taking part in that. Walter Marr and Harry Keogh, two men well known. Sunil Gulati of the U.S. Federation making his way, but these gentlemen are living history.
Yeah, I mean, we don't talk enough about our history because it does exist and it is rich, and we have to celebrate it as we go ahead. And these send-off games are the last opportunity for these players and this team to actually send the message to their fan base right now. People want to see this guy right here playing well. They want to see this team. They want to be inspired. They want to be confident as this team goes over to South Africa. Not just people that are into soccer, but even people that are even coming to it because it's such a big party. They want to cheer and they want to be supportive of this team. And this is an opportunity for these guys to show everybody, yes, we have a quality team individually. Collectively, we can compete with the best in the world. So this is not a throwaway game at all.
Momentarily, the anthems in the USA, as we said, essentially with its first team out there today. Pretty much the lineup you'll see 2 weeks from today against England. Now the national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hat for the playing of the national anthem of Turkey, followed by the national anthem of the United States of America.
Well, their faces and their names will become common national currency between now and their final match, and they hope it'll be deep into the tournament.
For some of these guys that haven't been there, it's an incredible individual opportunity for them to represent their country at the World Cup and to feel the power of what a World Cup can do to an individual, at times positively, but at times negatively too. So it's incredible pressure.
USA against Turkey. United States with that first team after we did not see that Tuesday night. The cuts have been made down to the final 23. Time for the preparations to take a very firm look at the future. 2 weeks from today, it's England. A week from today, it's Australia. The business at hand today is Turkey. Adrian Healy and John Hark standing by.
Thanks very much, Bob. Fantastic atmosphere here at the Lincoln Financial Field. Over 50,000 and a rampantly pro-United States crowd. As we look at Tim Howard getting set, John Harks. It's not always the case for the United States, is it, on their journey to the World Cup?
No, things have changed, Adrian, quite a bit, and for the better. I don't remember getting a send-off in '90 when we first got back there after 40 years. And in '94, I think we played in Hershey, Pennsylvania against Poland. To maybe about 6,000 people in the crowd, but this is amazing, and it gives you deeper meaning of what the true grandest stage in the world is all about.
Well, you mentioned history, John, and what about this? Two members of the 1950 US World Cup team, Walter Barr and Harry Keogh, a team that beat England famously by a goal to nil. They're going to take part in the ceremonial coin toss here.
And they talk about the miracle on grass as it was, and again, you're still angry at me for that fact that the U.S. beat you back in 1950. It's not our fault, Adrian. You've got to calm down. Excellent, and these two are the best ambassadors of the game. Walter Barr and Harry Keogh were always in touch with us through '90 and '94. They give so much back to the game. If you don't remember where you came from, you don't know where you're going to go. And they bring that deeper meaning to U.S. and the history of the game of soccer in this country. They're excellent.
Carlos Bocanegra and Emre, the respective captains. What a wonderful inspiration for the modern-day United States side.
One thing that not a lot of people know is they always got into being impartial. They loved being with the players. They shared a lot with them.
Let's refresh our memories to the lineups today, John, for both teams, starting with the United States. And what do you make of Bob Bradley's starting 11?
Well, again, he hasn't set in stone yet what he wants to do, but Landon Donovan on the right, such a great experience with Everton, does it with the Galaxy as well. Altidore and Dempsey up front. Benny Feilhaber getting a shout in the left. Needs to get minutes and games in, and that's why he's there. Goodson and Demerit in the back, holding in front of Howard. For Turkey, Kazim, well, we all used to know him as Colin Richards. In England, he changed his name now. He's on loan at Toulouse, France, so he's doing well. Tunchai will be just underneath him. Arda, what a player on the left side. Loads of pace. Keep an eye on Sabra, the right back. He loves to overlap. Hamid Altintop, what a player. Bayern Munich. These players are full to play, ready to play.
Yeah, Turkey very much bringing their A-team today in Philadelphia. Let's have a look at the United States bench. They can use up to 6 substitutes again, as they were able to on Tuesday night.
They're right, and again, we said Anye was getting rest. He's cautious. They got to make sure. Steve Cherundolo comes through 90 minutes in that last match. Good experience, good captain's role. Beasley, Bornstein's there, Brad Gazan as well. Maurice Edu and Stuart Holden, they played, not so much with Rangers, Maurice Edu, but he did play towards the end. Stuart Holden getting a rest.
Now, just before kickoff, it's time to take a look at who is primed to perform. This is fueled by Gatorade.
Josie Altidore is primed to perform. Here you see 1 goal in 28 games. Not the best stats in the world, but 6 goals in qualifying for the U.S. He was a top scorer. Young player, a lot rests on his shoulders. He needs to enjoy his game.
So it's the Crescent Stars who provide the Stars and Stripes with their World Cup launchpad on home soil. And with the United States looking to soar on their way to South Africa, it's the home of the Philadelphia Eagles that provides the setting here today. And an early cross seeking out Josie Altidore. What a positive start that was from Landon Donovan.
Excellent start, and the first ball gets played into Clint Dempsey, lays it off. Landon just didn't get his hips around that ball, and we know his service that he can provide. Good signs, though, early from the U.S.
Just the 3rd meeting in international history between Turkey and the United States, and the first on American soil. And Altintop trying to dig in there, and he's come up with a knock as Clint Dempsey tried his luck. Shot all along the ground, but it's Hamid Altintop, who played just a week ago in the Champions League final at the Bernabeu, who's down hurt for Turkey.
Well, again, just a positive mentality in the approach. You see that Altintop, as he got caught just in behind. And Dempsey was looking to keep that ball alive. Handshakes all around.
Altintop has recovered.
What a player he is.
And what a week for him, John. He played, as I say, in the Champions League final for Bayern Munich against Inter. His next appointment was in New Britain, Connecticut, Turkey against Northern Ireland this past Wednesday.
Well, what the commitment it shows, Adrian, we spoke about that in terms of the mental and the physical rest. You would think players would want to take a break off. With Gus Hiddink being the new manager, well, they all want to impress. They all want to impress, and he's out there. Good commitment from him.
There's a real solid spine of experience down the middle of this Turkey team with Servet Çetin, Emre, and Tuncay. There's Michael Bradley, who trained in the build-up to the 2006 World Cup with the United States national team. Didn't get to go.
Remember Emery as well. Played for Newcastle back in the day and Inter.
Wow. Dangerous ball from Benny Feilhaber. Turkey trying to profit from it. Selçuk's cross. Oh, and Tim Howard just got the faintest of touches to it. It's going to be a corner, but that was almost a self-inflicted wound for the States.
Yeah, very early start and concern already. When you're under pressure, and he's looking just not sure what he's thinking about, Benny Feilhaber. That's a very dangerous ball. And normally you get hurt at this level, Adrian. We see Tim Howard, the athleticism, trying to make sure that he keeps things safe in the back.
Selçuk's corner. That went the heads, and it came off of Gökhan Zan, one of the big central defenders. So Bob Bradley's men surviving the early scare.
Well, again, the athleticism, Tim Howard, what a leader, and he reads the game so well. He just enough of a tip to get onto that. Now, Bob Bradley shaking his head maybe just a bit, concerned early. Those mistakes happen under pressure. You just don't want it to cause a goal.
Now Donovan able to settle. Bradley helping it on. Bocanegra arriving. Michael Bradley winning his 42nd cap this afternoon.
I love the energy, actually, from Michael Bradley. Just he sprinted out wide to give an angle support for Carlos Bocanegra. And we know Bocanegra can play as a center back, good captain and leader, but as a left-sided player in the back, he comes forward quite well, but he needs that support, the angle. Two midfielders are very important that they're able to get about. And again, you got to keep an eye on Bocanegra. Just had that surgery for the hernia operation a few weeks back. So he's looking to stay healthy towards June 12th. First game against England.
Tuncay, meanwhile, connecting with Ahmet Altıntop. Room to roam here for Sabri Sarıoğlu, who's a flying fullback for the Turks. Kazim trying to nip in there, but well shielded by Clarence Goodson.
Yeah, and again, that's that challenge when you see Sabri coming forward. It's a right back from Turkey. That's where Benny Feilhaber has got to have a better positional defense type of spot. He's got to make sure he shuts that down.
Well, we heard Bob Lee and Alexi Lalas talking pre-game about Clint Dempsey and his role today. We talked to him yesterday after training, John, and he very much said it's going to be an out-and-out striker role for him today alongside Josie Altidore. The first time they've ever started together up front for the United States.
Right, and I was going back in my notes, and it's the second time that really Clint Dempsey's ever started up front for the U.S.
Tuncay is found some space here. Selçuk and Tuncay! Well, the most experienced player in the Turkey squad really should have given them the lead. The goal was at his mercy.
Well, again, this is the experience of Tuncay. Plays at Stoke City in England. Great delivery out wide. The cutback, and he is wide open. Nobody stays with his man. A little bit concerns early. You got to stay with runners through the midfield. When he drops off into that midfield position, he is a danger. So many caps, great experience as well.
Yeah, moved from Middlesbrough to Stoke.
22 goals as well for this Turkish side.
Scored a goal against Clint Dempsey and Fulham this past Premier League season, game in which Clint Dempsey also registered.
And you see the speed of play already. We spoke about this the 2 games ago when the Turks met the Czechs in the Red Bull Arena. The pace, the hard play that they very direct, but at the same time just quick decisions on the ball. Great test for the U.S. today.
Now Turkey looking to make it 3 wins out of 3 on their United States tour. They beat the Czechs 2-1. They beat Northern Ireland 2-0 in New Britain, Connecticut on Wednesday. Game played in broiling hot conditions. It must have been 100 degrees in New Britain. Wednesday afternoon game, especially for Turkish TV. The United States looking to end on the right note. Bring to an end this run of 4 consecutive defeats, albeit in friendlies, John, against European opposition. They went down to the Netherlands and the Czechs this year. Denmark and Slovakia towards the tail end of last season. They are only friendlies, but it's nice to get the right result, isn't
Right, again, and it is good to get the result, but really, every time you go in, you play against these teams, you're always looking to learn something about your own side, and that's very important. You know, against the Turkey team, this is almost like a Slovenia. They play similar to that fashion, you know, the build-up, the speed of play, everything about it, so you've got to make sure they keep an eye on everything.
Josie Altidore. All eyes on him today. Can Josie Altidore rekindle the fire that was burning last summer at the Confederations Cup, where he really lit up the tournament at times, following on from somewhat disappointing season in the English Premier League. Josie Altidore with Hull City. It's the 1 goal for them this past campaign. As it goes to Tim Howard, winning his 50th cap tonight. More than 8 years after he made his debut. Of course, as you heard Jeremy Schatt remind us pre-game, he hasn't actually played in a World Cup yet, Tim Howard, or not a game. It was Casey Keller 4 years ago.
Right, and he really established the #1 goalkeeping in 2006, Tim Howard. And what a leader he's been since then. Sure, he's looking forward to stepping on that grass surface in South Africa against England. He knows the players so well. The national pride is at stake. Everything's important. Pace of this game, though. Let's get back to this game. Excellent from Turkey and the U.S. Very aggressive, both teams coming out to play today.
Well, Turkey have done a pretty good job seizing the early initiative here. Scott Kanzan, they have 2 towering centre-backs, the 2 of them involved here with Servet Çetin. The other one, the diminutive Emre, has been in the fold from since World Cup 2002. Bocanegra there to cut it out. And nice sharp turn from Feilhaber.
Well, that's a composure on the ball that Benny brings to it. The skill. Look at a touch from Landon. Great pace from him as well. Very explosive.
Landon Donovan playing out wide right as he did in his time in the English Premier League with Everton. Yeah, such an impact there.
Absolutely, and again, you know, when he comes inside like that, you see Jonathan Spector loves to get around as an overlapping right back.
Donovan, only 13 games for Everton, but it seems like his impact and his legacy was a lot larger than that, John.
Well, he did so well in a short period of time. You know, the expectations were, you know, for him high, because he wanted to be in the EPL, he wanted to test himself. He did very well. Came back, and now he provides that with the Galaxy under Bruce Arena.
Bob Bradley has used Landon Donovan more on the left-hand side of midfield. This is Tunçay. It's a sharp back heel for Hamit Altintop. Goes for placements. Well, Altintop, who's been the fill-in for Frank Ribery this year at Bayern Munich, has been heavily involved early on.
Well, again, when Ribery was absent, he came in and he made the most of every opportunity for Bayern, and again, he's finding so much space. Between he and Tunçay, it's almost like free rolls. They're interchanging so much. It makes it difficult to defend on a tactical formation. You got to make sure the communication from the U.S. is there at all times.
Altintop has a twin brother, Halil Altintop, also very much part of the Turkey setup.
Ricardo Clark, teammate, Eintracht Frankfurt.
An important game for Ricardo Clark as well.
Yeah,
John, we heard the coach talking about his fitness level. Only played 3 games after returning from injury towards the end of April with Eintracht Frankfurt.
That's right, and you know, it's so important for them not only to get the game fitness, but the rhythm of play, and then the combinations of who's playing next to who with this U.S. side. And still, for Bob Bradley, even he said yesterday to us, look, I'm still looking at different combinations now. And thus the reaction of putting a Clint Dempsey up front with Josie Altidore. See how that works.
Emre fielding it wide for Selçuk. Emre coming back the other way for Sabri Sarıoğlu. Feilhaber across to meet him. Again, Emre is the conduit, everything going through him. The man of the match award in their victory against Northern Ireland, even though he only played the second half in that game. Emre. Good positioning by Carlos Bocanegra, who checked inside.
Yeah, you saw him kind of switch with Jay Demerit a little bit. That natural tendency for him as a center back. And now they're back for him. Again, they switch again, so he's left back behind Benny Feilhaber. There's Carlos Bocanegra. Spoke to him, I said, how's that? Dealing with the pain from the surgery? He said, Parksy, not a problem at all. It's just afterwards, it's the maintenance. So I want to make sure that everything's going well towards June 12th in that first match against England.
Bocanegra with hernia surgery back on May the 5th. Here's Jay Demerit, also recovering from some fitness issues. Abdominal strain.
Oh, what a great ball. You see that first touch from Benny Feilhaber under pressure? That's why he's on the field right now.
Ricardo Clark. Clever change of direction from him. Bocanegra. Feilhaber outside it, keeps it low for Dempsey. Clint Dempsey. Well, his sights set on goal.
Yeah, it wasn't what he wanted in the outcome. The end result wasn't the best, but really the build-up from the U.S., fantastic. They saw Tim Howard. He was just talking about, you know, yesterday, saying, hey, we've got to close things down in front of me, and it doesn't matter who it is, but whoever our left back and our right back and our two central backs are going to be, I'm going to demand more of them. See that reaction? Yeah, step up, shut that down. He's angry early on. He doesn't want to let anybody have complacency on the field at all. Good leadership from him.
Now Bocanegra getting the job done for Howard this time, who applauds. He looked so hungry, didn't he, in training yesterday, Tim Howard, and sharp, saving absolutely everything that came his way.
He's always been a very athletic goalkeeper, but now he's become even a smarter goalkeeper. His experience with Everton in the EPL has just really made him an all-around great goalkeeper. He's fantastic.
And the fact that he's been coming off a week off, which he hasn't enjoyed for so long. He's played two completely ever-present seasons with Everton.
Yeah, Adrian, you know, you don't get a rest when you play in the EPL. There's so many games. You finish towards May. You may get 3 or 4 weeks, but you're always playing as well for your national team.
This is Selçuk Enan digging in. Emre just funneling it onto Tuncay, looking for the inside move. And opportunities here for Turkey. Well, the shot blazing over the top from Arda Turan.
Well, it's clear so far. The first 15 minutes with Gus Hiddink in the crowd. As the manager looks on, Turkey have really exploded. And that ball just from behind Spector. What a great strike. And really, 3 clear chances now for Turkey down at one end. He's got to hit the target from there.
Arda Turan, the former wonder kid of Turkish football. A lot of big European teams looking at him in the last couple of years.
And he grew up in Germany. Many of them do. It's the largest population of, you know, Turkish residents in Germany, largest minority. So they do grow up with that influence of the Bundesliga. We saw Arda Turan cut inside in the first game and score against the Czech Republic early at Red Bull Arena last week. His pace is excellent. You see Altidore getting mixed into it a little bit.
Altidore called for the foul by our Canadian referee today, Silvio Petrescu. More trickery and cleverness from Arda Turan, who's on his way again. Demerit across to meet him. And Ricardo Clark able to recover. The US struggling to grab the initiative and the momentum, but there may be a great opportunity to do just that here with Bocanegra driving forward. Dempsey didn't hear the approaching footsteps of Hamid Altintop.
Well, this is going to be already, you're seeing signs of an open game. You know, one team attacks, the other one steals it. Good possession going forward from the U.S., but the concern comes on the defensive part through the U.S. in the midfield and the back. You've got to get closer to the ball.
Donovan and Altidore just a little out of sync. Sabri Sarıoğlu.
Well, to keep in mind, Adrian, you know, many of these players are still figuring out who's going to be playing next to who, and then the communication, the understanding, so they got to get on the same page. It's all part of the chemistry, and that's something that the U.S. has had a very good advantage of, that chemistry for so long throughout the World Cup qualifying, but now it's still, these guys got to understand each other. And that's a little bit part of it right now.
Emre, Gökhan Zan, and now Sabri Sarıoğlu again. Clark nipping in there, but just failed to connect with Dempsey. Sabri Sarıoğlu onto Tuncay, looking for a return pass. And by the time it presented itself, Bocanegra had intervened.
Well, that was a little bit better. Michael Bradley providing like a double coverage there for Carlos Bocanegra, but there's a lot of empty spaces in the gaps, the passing lanes. And Turkey are finding those lanes, and they're getting a lot of time on the ball right now.
Kazim, the intended targets. Good clean jump by Bocanegra. Now ESPN's presentation of US soccer is brought to you by Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And Flow TV. Tune in when you're out with Flow TV. It's Benny Feilhaber who's picked up the free kick here for the US. Bradley trying to take it quickly. Referee's not too happy. To do it again. Benny Feilhaber. Another successful season with Aarhus in Denmark. Sylvia Petrescu, the Canadian man in the middle, and Servet Çetin getting some attention here. So Turkey temporarily down to 10 men. Bocanegra trying to measure his cross to perfection. Dempsey got just a little bit of separation there away from Saglar Barinci. Bob Bradley's men looking for perhaps a tougher preparation on the road to World Cup 2010 than the one they had in 2006. When you look at the FIFA rankings for their three opponents, John, you'd have to say it's a much rougher road they're hewing. Czech Republic, Turkey and Australia.
Well, again, you're always looking for competition. Wow, see that. Play on, says the referee. Well, you're always looking for competition and to learn lessons and better your team. And those challenges come, prior to the World Cup, but also throughout. And it's a long, we know that, it's a long journey through the qualifying stages. But this is better prepared, this U.S. side. You never know what's going to happen on the day, but it can't hurt you when you're playing against good sides.
This is Ricardo Clark. Combination with Bradley, patient build-up, a little more of the possession now for the US. Bocanegra screaming for it on our near-hand side and gets it. Turkey still down to 10. Servet Çetin looking to check back in. And just again, slight lack of precision between Bradley and Bocanegra. Carlos Bocanegra, the captain, winning his 78th cap. Just a few days after his 31st birthday. He celebrated that on Tuesday night.
The thing about having Carlos Bocanegra on that left side is he's good with right and left. His distribution's excellent. Deceptive speed, but he's really grown and matured a lot into that captain's role the last 3 years. Good decisions.
Bradley rolled perfectly into the path of Altidore, who goes to work. Josie Altidore, nice service. Dempsey just got in a bit of a tangle.
Well, I thought Dempsey was going to lay the ball off one touch to Michael Bradley. Made an excellent run through the box, right into the 18.
Encouraging connection there, though, between Dempsey and Altidore.
It is, but you see Josie, he gets his feet set right, and it's a good ball from Michael Bradley out of the midfield early. That's that combination, that understanding with each other. Michael plays that ball in, and he wants it back in the 18, and as it gets laid back, I thought it was a one touch. It just needed that little depth, little touch from Clint Dempsey.
Now the 2010 FIFA World Cup kicks off on Friday, June the 11th, live from South Africa. Coverage beginning at 9:30 a.m. on ESPN as Mexico takes on the host country, South Africa, followed by Uruguay against France at 2. Then on Saturday, June the 12th. It's the big one. The USA against England, 2:30 Eastern on ABC. You can also listen to every game, remember, on ESPN Radio, and watch every game online on ESPN3.com. Josie Altidore, we told you the top scoring team, or rather player, in the USA front line. The 4 forwards selected. Altidore has 8 goals. 6 of them came in World Cup qualifying.
Oh, what a great ball, Demerit. See, I love the difference, too, about Demerit. He's looking to open up and stretch that game, and this is what he's added to himself playing at Watford. Remember, Jay Demerit, all 5 Confederation Cup games did very well, shutting down some of the top players in the world. Spain, Brazil.
Now here is Demerit, who grew up dreaming of playing for the Green Bay Packers. He dreamed about playing the Philadelphia Eagles one day, but here he is in front of 50,000.
You see that foul there. Borenchi just pulling down. Clint Dempsey is looking to make a run from inside to out on a diagonal. It was an off-the-ball challenge from the number 13 pulled down Dempsey.
Now set pieces, John, proved to be a pot of gold for the US on Tuesday night against the Czech Republic. Both their goals came from set pieces, a free kick and a corner.
Well, you know, when Landon Donovan's over the ball, he's really fine-tuned that skill. It's consistent with the delivery. It's sharp. They have plenty of players in the box. Goodson, Bradley, Bocanegra looking to get on the end of it.
Donovan delivering. It was Clarence Goodson who took a tumble.
Took a huge tumble, actually.
A slice clearance, but will provide the US with their first corner of the afternoon, midway through the first half. Starting just exert some authority for the first time. Donovan, good looking service. It's Feilhaber who latched onto it. Eddie Feilhaber. He didn't hesitate to pull the trigger, did he, with the right foot?
No. And you can remember Benny Feilhaber when he did that in 2007 Gold Cup against Mexico in the final. What a volley it was. So he loves to strike from distance. Just couldn't get himself around that ball enough.
The man who was born in Rio de Janeiro, moved to the United States at the age of 6. Former UCLA standout. Quite a career in Europe unfolding as well. Previously with Derby and with Hamburg. Just a slight correction to information we gave you a little earlier. Remember, the USA-England game on June the 12th is actually 1:30 Eastern time. Wouldn't want you to miss any of it. All the build-up to the big one from Rustenburg.
Well, again, the big picture, you know, even speaking with Bob Bradley, players understand it's 3 games in the tournament. Much anticipated first game against England. It's going to be a tough one, but these games here, these friendlies, are helping the U.S. to prepare in terms of speed of play, aggressiveness, quick counter-attack, and that's where England's a very good passing side. They've got Rooney up top. Got to be wary of him.
I've been keeping an eye on what the English media have made of Group C. There's no doubt about it. They see the United States as comfortably England's toughest opponents.
Well, 2 approaches, the media approach and the players' approach. Players in England know that the U.S. is not a walkover at all, even if the media says it may be.
Algeria and Slovenia, the other foes awaiting us. Josie Altidore makes a foray into the box, but he's muscled out of it by Servet Chetin. That is going to be a big physical battle all afternoon long. Servet Chetin, number 2 for Turkey. Spector. Lots of space to work with for now. Still Jonathan Spector. Oh, it's a positive run that ended just on the edge of the penalty area.
He did such a good job from his first touch to his second. Then leaving the gap in behind. When he goes forward, you've got to cover and balance.
And it's Arda Turan who's exploiting the space. And how? Arda Turan is the man for Turkey. Spector's foray forward is punished. with a lethal counter-attack by the Turks. And he may have picked up a knock in the process of scoring.
Well, Turkey takes full advantage of the space in behind. Jonathan Spector comes forward, which he should. And he picks off that ball. But here's the thing, you cannot allow them to have too much freedom and time to find this player, pick him out. And then the other players, you got to come across and cover that space. You saw the after challenge after he finished there, Adrian. That's where he might have picked up the knock. Arda Turan, what a player. Everybody see, you know, after this, man. Galatasaray, I don't know if he'll be there much longer. Plenty of teams in Europe looking after him. But the concern is, again, will Demerit slide over? Will Goodson slide over and cover that area that was left? And Jonathan Spector stepped forward. Yeah, Tim Howard's not happy.
Arda Turan with his 6th goal for Turkey. As you said, John, a Galatasaray standout, Jay Demerit, and the retreating Jonathan Spector just arriving a fraction too late.
Well, again, Spector loses the ball at his own 18, and he's one of the players back making a challenge on the ball. It shouldn't happen. Other players should be able to slide across and cover and balance there, and it didn't happen at all. So the communication in the back, but the understanding, quick awareness, well, that failed the U.S. just now.
So the U.S. behind as they look to provide this 50,000 plus crowd in Philadelphia. The perfect send-off moment. They leave for South Africa tomorrow morning, flying out of Washington, D.C. The third meeting between the two teams, a 2-1 defeat for the U.S. The last time they met at Confederations Cup 2003, that game played in France in Saint-Étienne. Of the goal scorers that day, potentially involved this afternoon. Tuncay, a starter for Turkey. DeMarcus Beasley got the United States goal. He's on the bench. Here's Michael Bradley. He's lost out. Tuncay used his shoulder illegally. He's saying it was fair. Well, time always an issue, John, isn't it, when you're trying to construct a World Cup squad? No national team coach is afforded the luxury of time. 3 weeks at most.
No, but it's all part of the preparation. You realize that, and you take the process and the steps that go along with it. But again, with the U.S. now, it's very important, and they shouldn't concede a goal like that at this level. There shouldn't be that many open gaps in the back. Dempsey picks up a slight knock there, but a little bit of an injury. But the urgency now is on the U.S. to not only perform for today and a great send-off before they go down to South Africa, but also to fine-tune their team individually and collectively and say, this is what we're going to do in the first match. Things can change, but the period of time to do that, Adrian, is starting to fade away.
Well, the United States will play their last friendly before the World Cup kicks off against Australia, Saturday, June the 5th. It's 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. As they look to chisel away on the edge of the Turkey penalty area again. It breaks down, and Emre trying to guide Turkey forward. He's run into physical congestion.
That's good pressure from Josie Altidore, and it's important from a tactical standpoint that the U.S. don't get stretched chasing the game now. The two strikers are really high. There's a big gap in the midfield. Drop off a little bit and stay as a team. Go forward together, come back together.
How can the United States react to this early adversity here? It's a very good chance that's been set up for them, John. The 60 minutes of this game with what is very close to the first 11.
And you see, though,
it might be.
Yeah, and you see when the U.S. does one touch.
Phil Albert's cross. Oh, and Servet Cetin was beaten. It needed Sabri Salioglu to head it behind. There's a better build-up on the right. right-hand side.
It's a lot better. What I was saying about the one touch, it's just sometimes as simple as just doing that. Playing the ball early and sooner and quicker and putting players in a better position. Get the ball off your feet early. 1, 2, move the ball, and that's what the U.S. are doing now.
Now, can a corner provide a route back into the game? Donovan trying to cut it. Oh, and it was there for the taking. Still might be. Bocanegra's follow-up effort blocks. There seemed to be an open header there for Michael Bradley. He didn't make connection. Jonathan Spector was in there. Clarence Goodson too. Ahead of their markers. Spector forced to reset. Up the ball by Howard, trying to keep the momentum with the US. Dempsey feeling the full force of Servet Chetin's clattering challenge.
Well, that's some of what you're going to get in that June 12th game. John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Ledley King, players that really challenge every ball in the air.
Combination with Spector and Failhaber. Just fails to produce. Emre will turn the tables and drive Turkey forward. Out in top. Clark there to halt his progress.
You know what Turkey's done quite well is just that interchanging of players. Almost like 2 or 3 of them have a free roll. And that's better from the U.S. Good pressure.
Now Donovan hasn't been that involved so far. Failhaber switched down to the right-hand side. Again, Turks able to halt the progress. Now Kazim is the conduit. They've switched it efficiently from left to right. Sabri Sarıoğlu. Michael Bradley across to meet him. Clever play from Sarıoğlu. The final pass went astray.
Well, looking for a little bit more patience there from Ricardo Clark. I mean, the U.S., when you're down a goal, it's about the leaders on the field and say, you know, keep the possession, slow it down, and dictate the pace our way. Don't start chasing and play the fast, speedy game that Turkey has so far. That's just game management, Adrian. You know, you've got to have that at the highest level.
On the evidence of the first 35 minutes or so, John, maybe a change of plan B. Haven't really been able to break down Turkey defensive rearguard action, have they?
No, and what I was saying before, it always seems like they're outnumbered in the central part of midfield. Ricardo Clark and Michael Bradley, they're going to the next player, so it's a 3v2 in there because they're interchanging all the time. So they've got to sort that out at halftime and make sure they close down those passing lanes. Get to the ball quicker. That's better right there. That's very good cover from Bradley and Ricardo Clark.
Volkan Demirel, the Turkish goalkeeper, yet to be seriously troubled. Dempsey.
Yeah, he just lost his touch there. No, it wasn't a foul. His first touch got away from him. Good build-up again. The little triangles and the short exchange of the passes from the U.S. has been good. It's just that final third.
Tuncay out in top.
Again, Michael Bradley providing that extra cover from the midfield, dropping off 30 yards. He's chasing. He always works hard, and he's grown and matured as a player at Borussia Mönchengladbach this year in the Bundesliga.
Second season there.
That was almost a tackle from the referee. Ricardo Clark saying, "Get out of the way, please."
Bob Bradley, 60 games in charge for him over the past 3.5 years. 35 wins, 19 defeats, only 6 draws. Following on from Bill Jeffries, Bob Gansler, Bora Milutinovic, Steve Sampson and Bruce Arena. These coaches who guided the United States out of World Cup finals.
What What a great occasion, though, today, Memorial Day weekend, fans itself, and get to see some of the top players for the U.S. There's still 2 or 3 or 4 more to come, Adrian, as we said. It could change after this game, going to June 5th game against Australia.
It's only the United States national team's second visit to Lincoln Financial Field. They were here last summer for a Gold Cup quarterfinal against Panama. They won by 2 goals to 1. To the previous visit before that to the city of Philadelphia, all the way back in 1968, a friendly against Israel at Temple Stadium.
Done well, Josie Altidore to hold that under pressure. Very well done.
Donovan patrolling central waters.
Josie was looking for the ball back.
Donovan again. Dempsey available. 3 in the box for Clint Dempsey. Met by Chaitin, only as far as Ricardo Clark. Now Bradley. The United States circling the Turkish penalty area. But now the outlet is available. Emre with a clever quick pass for Arda Turan, who's on his way again. Kazim is outside him. Jay Demerit able to hold his progress for now. And Kazim forced away from goal. It was tenacious defending by Demerit. The crowd loved it. Montenegro. Alton sliding in, but free kick given. Montenegro, who needs just 1 more goal to match Marcelo Balboa's tally as the highest scoring US defender in history. A scoop pass from Donovan. Nice idea, but beyond the range of Dempsey.
Yeah, Volkan Demirel had that covered. Goalkeeper for the Turkish side, and just keep in mind, Adrian, you and I were speaking before this game. People will look at this and say, well, Turkey's not going to the World Cup. How come we're not winning? But they are a very high-quality team.
Oh, and Arda Turan demonstrating it again. He's in once more. Well, he was looking for a teammate who wasn't there. This time the cutback from Arda Turan, but Kazim was trailing the play.
Again, Jonathan Spector has to be careful when he's judging that ball in the air. His positional start as a defender. You see that Dempsey almost trying to find Landon Donovan over the top.
Well, Turkey and the United States, John, share a high watermark. That was the 2002 World Cup. The United States reached the quarterfinal. Turkey reached the semi-final.
That's right. They beat Korea 3-2 in that semi-final to finish 3rd in the World Cup. And then, like we hear, so many teams, Adrian, they don't make the next 2 World Cups, so they're either there or they're not there, 100% or not at all.
Tunçay on the turn, away from Bradley. Oh, it took a little deflection, and Howard was forced to scramble. The ball looping up onto the roof of the net.
Well, it's a good defensive play by Clarence Goodson as he comes across the cover there, but the concern for me now is that spacing through the midfield and finding that. They're getting in behind the U.S. defense way too easy right now.
Goodson's intervention, but at the expense of a corner.
And the way to shut that down is have the outside midfielders tuck in and really make it difficult to play through.
Selçuk Inan. Goodson there again. It's kept alive. Chaitin's header. Quickly received by Tim Howard.
Well, the one thing about the preparations, and we talked about the U.S. and how this is going to help them when they play against England in the first game. Well, Turkey came to play today, and you could see that. They're firing on all cylinders. The energy is great. The skill level on the ball is fantastic. So many individuals on the field. So again, this always putting the U.S. under pressure.
Well, Turkey finished 3rd in their World Cup qualifying group, behind Spain, also behind Bosnia and Herzegovina. Their sight's already set on Euro 2012. It's a booking. Ricardo Clark has his sights set on. Silvio Petrescu. an offence worthy of a caution. Rico to the German Bundesliga, racked the injury he picked up. Still working his way back to full match fitness, you imagine. Just 3 games at the end of the Bundesliga season. Scored such an important goal, though, didn't he, Ricardo Clark? En route to qualification, that winner in Trinidad and Tobago.
His first goal was a very good one. Top of the 18, smacked it.
Now Josie Altidore, man looking to rediscover the scoring touch. Oh, he's done well. Altidore's through. Dempsey available. Oh, that was the best move of the first half by some distance for the US. Dempsey agonizingly couldn't quite get there.
And that's what you're looking for from Josie Altidore, the creativity, the size of him. But watch this, the little touch just in behind. Oh, so close. It's a good idea to get across. Unselfishly, he's trying to find Dempsey. But it's a great run from Josie Altidore. And the U.S. will need a lot more of that at the World Cup to change the game, make it happen. And that's what you want to see from a young player. Excellent.
Altidore, the youngest member of the travelling party of 23, the age of 20. Marcus Hanneman, by the way, is the oldest. Goodson's header away. It's a timely one. Donovan arriving. There's no real release foul from him. And Donovan winning his 122nd cap. Sabri Sarrioglu wanting the run from Tuncay. He eventually got it.
See, for me, just on a set piece as easy as a throw-in, I think that's too easy for them to keep possession. If you're going to mark up tight, then mark your man. Stay strong with them. Don't let them do that.
Chetin to Gokhan Zan. That last US attack, John, the first time we've really seen Altidore able to get his head down and run on Chetin one-on-one. He had the beating of it. Chaglar wide to Arda Turan. Here's Emre. Final minute of the first half in Philadelphia. United States 0, Turkey 1. Arda Turan with the breakthrough for the Turks. By way of a devastating counter-attack. Now they're on the prowl just outside the box. Hamid Altintop. Final seconds of the first half. John, your thoughts? What you've seen for the United States the first 45 minutes?
Well, again, way too much space again. Look at this right here.
Arda Turan, to drive on. Tim Howard was lying in wait.
Anyway, just going back to the U.S., there's some concerns because way too many gaps through the midfield, and if you're going to be outnumbered there, 3 versus 2, it's hard for Ricardo Clark and Michael Bradley to mark up on 3 players. The 5, the 17, and the 6 of Turkey are really exchanging quite well. So you got to tuck in. The outside midfielders have to do it. The outside backs got to do it. And the U.S. got to get on the same page, and that's all part of this chemistry. How do you build that towards the opening game in the World Cup? Well, they're having some tough times right now against the Turkish side who came out to play.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear what Bob Lee and Alexi Lalas make of it back in the studio at half-time. Stay with us for that. Also get you caught up with other international friendlies being played around the world. All 32 World Cup teams in the midst of their preparations. Algeria, actually one of the United States group opponents, lost heavily yesterday to Ireland, and it's the United States who are behind here at Lincoln Financial Field. They trail Arda Turan's breakaway goal. Dempsey perhaps coming closest to restoring parity. Landon Donovan switching around positionally, trying to influence proceedings. To no avail, thanks to think over for Bob Bradley and company, John.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not going to be happy with this as they go in at halftime. There are going to be some discussions on the marking ability and the lack of the transition, marking up in the back communication. It's not good right now.
United States 0, Turkey 1. We'll take a break and then it's back to Bob and Alexi in the studio.